Good evening, everyone. My name is Chris Cooper, known as the Channel Guy Trader, and I'm reporting to you live from Wall Street Trading's Miami office down in sunny South Florida. Today's date is Thursday, August 29th, 2013, and here is today's After the Bell Market Summary video brought to you by WallStreetTrading.com. I want to first start by taking a look to see how the indices closed the session out here for the day. The Dow closed up 16.5 points, the Nasdaq closed up 27 points, and the S&P 500 closed up 3.25. If we take a look at the breadth on the market today, we had 4,092 issues advancing on the NYSE, Nasdaq, and the AMEX. We had 2,080 issues declining on the NYSE, Nasdaq, and the AMEX. Therefore, breadth was in favor of the bulls, pretty much a 2-to-1 there. As far as the sector goes, there's different sectors. As far as they go, the technology sector did pretty well today, followed by the financials, services sector, consumer goods. The only sector that was pretty weak today was the basic material sector. ExxonMobil, Chevron, ConocoPhillips, they basically gave back some of the gains they made yesterday from that nice little pop-up that they had. So let's go ahead and break down the SPY daily chart, the S&P 500 ETF here. You can see we're still chopping around that 100-day simple moving average here, holding support this 163 level, right in front of that key 162 level that we're watching from the prior resistance, which should now act as support. But as long as we could continue to hold above this 163 level, and we could start making a move back up towards 166 if the bid continues to hold down here around this moving average. You can also draw this little trend line in right here from these highs, and that could possibly be a target in play around the 167 if we start to catch a bid or move back up to that little resistance area, which also lines up with this gap resistance. If you take a look at the ES had some decent action today. Big buyers came in. They did a little shakeout, kind of the similar shakeout they did yesterday, but they took out the overnight low, then they rallied the markets right up. You can see a similar pattern on the ES 60-minute chart. Yeah, I'll show you guys real quick. Let's see here. ES 60-minute chart. This was yesterday's open. We opened up. They shook us out below the previous below the overnight low, and then rallied us up pretty fast. Same thing happened this morning, which is pretty interesting. They shook us out underneath the overnight low and then rallied us up pretty hard. And then we sold off the high. Same thing, sold off the high. So we got a little pattern analysis going at the same time. You can now draw in a little trend line, little channel on the 60-minute chart, the ES, which you can work off down the 60-minute chart to use as a gauge. So we'll continue to watch to see how this channel plays out on the chart. And it looks like we could possibly go up one more day and then get some selling pressure on maybe going into next week. I mean, if you take a look at the daily chart, we're still below the key 144 area, I would say, which acted as resistance today. At the same time, we're still hanging in the lower. We're still closing in the lower 50% of this big sell buy that we had on Tuesday. So that's a couple things to keep in mind there. If you take a look at the Nasdaq, the triple Qs, all right, they did pretty well today. They were up 53 cents, close to 1%, up 0.70%, continuing to hold above the 75.30 area. If we could hold above 76, look for some gap fill action up towards 76, 75. We still have some more room to go there to fill that gap. Again, the technology sector did pretty well today. We've seen a lot of strength in some of the semiconductor stocks. I mean, just take a look at CRUS, had a good little fall through day from yesterday's action. This stock was in play from the AVGO news. You can take a look at Qualcomm, which is holding up in the upper part of its range, kind of flagging up here after this nice little up move. You have this little sideways consolidation. You can also take a look at Altera. This stock is performing pretty well. Had a nice little day today, breaking and holding above this little 35 little consolidation they had right here. Of course, this is a little outlier right there as we came right back inside the little consolidation. But over 36, the stock can make us move up towards 36.50 and possibly get a break to new 52-week highs. Keep an eye on this stock here in the short term. Over 36.5, this one looks pretty good, guys. It's trading in range right now between 34.50 and 36.52, $2 range. What else? All right, so let's go take a look at the IWM, the Russell 2000, up $1 today, holding some nice support around the 150 level here. Little double bottom in play, also a possible W pattern in play. All right, we're gonna be watching out for this, and if it breaks the upper trend line resistance here, we get back above 103. This could make a nice move up. I was mentioning in my blog post that I made on Facebook how we were looking like we had a nice little pattern for a possible move up today, and we did get a nice move up today, but however we did not hold those gains, And if you take a look at yesterday, the same thing happened. We rallied up and didn't hold those gains. We got to continue to watch this little 50% lower level here. What else? Let's take a look at the U.S. dollar. I didn't get to show this yesterday, but take a look at the U.S. dollar. It's breaking above this little trend line resistance. Back up towards the 82 half level would be the next resistance level to watch. This key trend line, this key trend line, this key trend line, and now we're going to see what this U.S. dollar wants to do. We're going to compare it to how the different asset classes move and the euro moves. And of course, the euro selling off from the little double top up here at the 134 level. We'll continue to watch this. If it gets back below 132 and starts to hold back below 132, we'll expect the U.S. dollar to continue to make some gains on that little strength that's coming into the charts right now. Let's take a look at the commodities here, starting off with gold. Gold was down $11.40 today. Remember, this thing has been having a nice little rally ever since it broke out this little 1380 and 1348 range. If you're looking to get involved in gold, you should want to try to pick it up around the 1380 level. If we break back below 1380, you could try to pick it up around 1348, 13 half. The gold miners, they had a little reversal day yesterday. Let's go ahead and take a look to see how those closed. Up 24 cents. GDX needs to get back above 29. I would say back above this little range right here that it had to at least say this could be a little shakeout, possible shakeout. So we'll see how that plays out. So let's go ahead and take a look at a couple more key stocks here, starting off with some of the financials. JP Morgan. All right, I didn't get to go to the financials yesterday, so I want to take a look at them today. JP Morgan, it's coming right into a 200-day moving average around 49.15. Keep an eye on this name. Chart's still in a downtrend. You can see it's trending below the moving average. Is pretty strong there, so keep an eye on this one. Once it starts to hold above these little short-term moving averages, we can get a nice little move to the top side. Saw some strength in Morgan Stanley today. See, this one has a nice little pullback to the rising 100-day moving average right here. You can also draw another little downward trend line right here in this name, and it will trigger a buy once it breaks out this little downward channel that's been in for the past 5 weeks or so. Keep this one on watch. Let's take a look at the 60-minute chart here. Yeah, you got a nice little bull flag on the 60-minute chart, so keep an eye on this one for tomorrow. Support is down here at 25.80, resistance a break above 26. This was gonna make a nice move. We'll have this one on watch tomorrow. What else? So let's see here. Morgan Stanley. If Morgan Stanley's setting up a nice little buy setup on the 60-minute chart, you may want to take a look at some of the other names. Citigroup up 0.33% today. Doesn't look that great. Take a look at some of these regional banks. Zion. This was a name that I kind of like because it has a nice little downward channel right here. All right, but still has to wait. Still have to wait for this one to pick up some momentum. Looks good over 28.70 or so if it can get towards this gap fill area we have right there. Biotech stocks, they've been trading pretty well. That whole sector's been in place. Celgene was up over 2.5% today. This one's going to trigger a buy signal right over this 143 level. Nice little move here. Up move, down move right here. A little higher, low pivot. And we're going to be looking for this thing to take back off towards these highs. It looks pretty good. CELG. What else? BII. Another biotech stock that was up pretty nice today, up 2%. This one's trying to break out the range, holding some support around 205 and consolidating right underneath 210, or just closing about 210 after breaking out today. So we'll see how this one plays out. One second. Still had the news on there. All right, so we'll see how the biotechs play out. They look pretty good. Keep an eye on that sector. Aside from that, energy stocks, again, ExxonMobil was strong yesterday, gave back pretty much all that action today. So I'm not even sure if this move right here was news related, but you can see it gave back everything. That's not good right there for that stock. Probably should go back and recheck those lows around 86.50. Let's take a look at what Chevron did. And Chevron inside day. Nothing going on there. Let's take a look at some of the home builders. I see Lennar had a nice little green day today. Lennar was up close to 3%. These stocks, they're still kind of basing out around here. I mean, Lennar is still trying to hold some support around 31. Need some more time. Let's take a look at DHI. DHI, same thing, trying to hold some support around 17.5. We can take a look at Toll Brothers and KBH. Toll Brothers getting a little bounce, but these charts look pretty sloppy. which is a nice little sloppy downtrend, I guess you could say. Let's see what else is going on here. Aside from that, that's about it. Keep an eye on the tech stocks. Apple, pretty much in an area where you want to wait for it to set up some type of base or pull back a little bit more. Amazon, you can see some buyers that are starting to come into the Amazon stock. We've been talking about Amazon around this 282 level. Keep an eye on this little downward trend line right here. Once it breaks a nice little downward channel it's been trading in, get a nice little pop to the top. So maybe to recheck this nice little prior support, which will act as resistance around this 300 level, which is about $17 away. This could get a nice little rally up. So aside from that, that's about it, folks. Hope you guys had a great day. Be in the chat room tomorrow, 8:30. If you have not been to the chat room yet, mywallstreettv.com. To get access to that chat room, you can go to our website, wallstreettrading.com, and fill out the form on the right-hand side. That's about it, folks. Have a great day. Cheers.